Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers. Who shot CYRUS mystery suspects pile up after Sam's killer goes down. General Hospital, GH. Spoilers reveal that CYRUS Renault, Jeff Kober, will have to pay the price if he's the one who targeted Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, at GH. There's been a lot of focus on the looming autopsy report and what it might expose, so it could offer proof of some fatal sabotage. Since there have been rumblings about CYRUS tampering with Sam's IV bag, he could be responsible for her breathing her last breath. If CYRUS caused Sam's heart attack, then he's the reason her loved ones are all mourning right now. Of course, we have to mention Lulu Spencer's, Alexa Haven's, ventilator failure, which was likely an act of sabotage as well. CYRUS may have his own twisted motives for what he's been up to, but the point is that he could be to blame for the suspicious happenings. If CYRUS is indeed guilty, where will this story go from here? The show's already done the whole prison thing with CYRUS, so is there really any point in doing it again? Jeff Kober is a fantastic performer, but maybe CYRUS has overstayed his welcome at this point. CYRUS isn't used all that much anymore and could lift right out if the show wants to do a new mystery. Although it brought a lot of drama when Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, shot John Jagger Cates, Adam J. Harrington, it was honestly kind of a bummer that we knew who did it. If CYRUS gets shot next, perhaps fans won't see who pulled the trigger. At least not right away. After all, there'd be no shortage of suspects in a story like that. Anyone who loved Sam and wanted revenge could be capable of taking matters into their own hands. Sonny could certainly be a contender, but so would Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, Dan DeFalconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, and Christina Corinthos Davis, Kate Mancy. Even Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, Drew Quartermain, Cameron Matheson, and Danny Morgan, Asher Antonisen, might be suspects depending on how things go down. Perhaps it's time for the show to write this villain out with a mystery that asks, who shot CYRUS? Suspects could pile up until the real culprit is ultimately revealed, and it might be someone that blows the audience away in the end. Our predictions point to trouble following CYRUS in the months ahead, so we'll bring you updates on any stunning news that might be in the works. General Hospital spoilers say Sam deserves justice, so we'll see if she gets it. In Port Charles, the residents are facing one of the most shocking mysteries to rock their world in years. Who shot CYRUS Renault? The infamous mobster, known for his ruthless dealings and iron grip on the underworld, seemed almost untouchable until now. CYRUS lies in the hospital, clinging to life, as the police scramble to piece together what really happened that night. What's more, this violent incident comes on the heels of Sam McCall's tragic death, sparking speculation and throwing the community into turmoil as suspects and motives start piling up. The scene of the crime. The shooting took place late one stormy night on Pier 55, a place notorious for shady dealings and sinister encounters. Though details remain murky, witnesses claim they saw CYRUS arguing with someone under the pier lights before a sudden flash and the sound of gunfire broke the silence. By the time the police arrived, CYRUS lay in a pool of his own blood, his assailant nowhere to be found. Adding to the urgency, just hours earlier, Sam McCall was found dead in an apparent hit-and-run accident on the other side of town. But there's suspicion that her death was anything but accidental. Some wonder if Sam's tragedy was actually connected to CYRUS's shooting. With tensions rising, everyone is asking, who would want to take CYRUS down? And is it tied to Sam's untimely end? Suspect number 1, Sonny Corinthos. Sonny Corinthos has long been CYRUS's biggest rival, and there's no shortage of tension between the two. Though Sonny's alibi appears airtight, Some suspect he might have arranged for Cyrus's shooting, rather than pulling the trigger himself. With Sam dead and her passing affecting Sonny's close circle, it's plausible that Sonny would want revenge on Cyrus for the emotional toll his war with Cyrus has taken on his loved ones. Carly, meanwhile, is by Sonny's side, maintaining his innocence while growing increasingly suspicious of who might be trying to frame her husband. Could someone be setting Sonny up, or is there a dark side to Sonny's grief that could have driven him to exact vengeance on Cyrus himself? Suspect number 2. Jason Morgan. Jason Morgan, Sam's former love, and one of Port Charles' most feared enforcers, is another likely suspect. Sam's death hit Jason hard, leaving him reeling with grief and anger. Some Port Charles residents have noted his erratic behavior and the intensity of his mourning, fueling speculation that he might have sought revenge on Cyrus for reasons unknown. Jason, though a master at concealing his emotions, can't hide the pain that lingers in his eyes. Police suspect he might have followed Cyrus to the pier with intentions to end this cycle of violence himself. But would Jason really be so reckless? Those who know Jason best understand he's not one to lash out without a plan. Could his grief have driven him to cross a line, or is there more to Jason's connection to this mystery? Suspect number 3. Jordan Ashford. As a former commissioner, Jordan has had more than her fair share of run-ins with Cyrus. Their mutual animosity has been festering for years, and with her reputation tarnished by past associations, she's no longer in a position of power. But losing Sam, who she shared a deep friendship with, may have pushed Jordan over the edge. With Sam dead and Cyrus potentially responsible, Jordan's resolve to stay within the law could have faltered. Despite her best efforts to seek justice through legitimate channels, perhaps her inner struggle against Cyrus became too intense. Was it vengeance for Sam's death that finally broke Jordan's ethical boundaries? Suspect number 4. Alexis Davis. Alexis Davis, a woman with a past as complex as Port Charles itself, had a close bond with both Sam and Cyrus, albeit for vastly different reasons. Sam was her daughter, and the pain of losing her in such a sudden, tragic way has devastated Alexis. Cyrus, on the other hand, has ties to some of the darkest days of Alexis's life. Though she had sought to distance herself from her old ways, those who know Alexis wouldn't rule out the possibility that her pain could drive her to take action. Despite Alexis's efforts to stay clean and build a new life, her grief and frustration might have led her down a familiar path. In her weakest moments, Alexis is capable of shocking actions. Did she lose control after Sam's death, taking justice into her own hands by confronting Cyrus? Suspect number 5. Drew Kane. Drew Kane's return to Port Charles has been marked by mystery and hints of unfinished business. Though he's typically known as a calm and collected figure, Drew was close to Sam, and losing her has cut him deeply. Drew's presence near the pier the night Cyrus was shot raises suspicion, as he's been known to have a dark streak when those he loves are threatened. As a former Navy SEAL, Drew has the skills to execute a precise attack and disappear into the shadows without leaving a trace. Given his military training and his grief over Sam, Drew's motives and capabilities make him a high-priority suspect. Could his dark side have emerged to exact revenge? Suspect number 6. Dante Falconeri. Dante has a history of straddling the line between law and vigilantism. As a detective, he has vowed to protect his town, but he's also fiercely protective of his family and friends. With Sam gone and the toll her death has taken on his friends and family, it wouldn't be out of character for Dante to cross a line in the name of justice. Some of Dante's colleagues have noticed his increased agitation and emotional outbursts. As a former hitman himself, he understands the consequences of revenge, yet the need for justice might have consumed him. Could Dante have finally snapped, taking matters into his own hands. The unfolding mystery. The tension in Port Charles has reached a boiling point, with everyone watching their backs and speculating about who could have taken such a drastic step. Meanwhile, Jordan, Dante, and the police force race against time to find answers before the next tragedy unfolds. Port Charles has faced its share of dramatic twists, but few mysteries have shaken the town to its core like this one. As Cyrus's condition wavers, the stakes continue to rise. If he survives, he could reveal the identity of his attacker. But with a reputation for deception and manipulation, can anyone trust what he might say? And if he dies, will the truth die with him? Or will Port Charles be forced to confront an even darker truth within their own community? One thing's for certain, everyone in Port Charles has something to lose, and potentially everything to gain, by keeping the secrets hidden, even if it means living with a killer among them. As more revelations come to light, alliances will shift, enemies will emerge, and the line between friend and foe will blur as the mystery of who shot Cyrus Renault consumes Port Charles.